Hello, family, and welcome back. There's something almost poetic about the timing of Meghan's latest post. One minute, the internet is melting over an impossibly cute mother-daughter moment featuring tiny Princess Lilibet apparently assisting with a shoe selection process she clearly takes very seriously. And the next minute, Meghan is preparing to head to Switzerland for an event focused on protecting children from digital harm. Softness and substance, warmth and purpose. The Duchess of Sussex continues to move between the personal and the global in a way that feels natural instead of performative. And honestly, that balance is part of why she keeps resonating with people worldwide, while certain corners of the British press continue clutching their pearls like Victorian ghosts trapped inside a comment section. The photo itself was simple. Meghan, standing in a gorgeous lavender coat, smiling into the mirror while little Lilibet sat on the floor surrounded by shoes, seemingly determined to help her mother get ready. And the caption? Mama's little helper. That was it. No long statement, no overproduction, no carefully choreographed royal stiffness where everyone looks emotionally audited before publication. Just a candid family moment. And people loved it because it felt real. You could practically see the scene unfolding in motion. Meghan trying to get ready while Lilibet wanders in with the confidence only toddlers possess. Suddenly, shoes are no longer shoes. They are a mission, an operation, a matter of national importance. Somewhere in Montecito, a tiny royal child was probably deciding which heels deserved approval, while Meghan laughed behind the camera. It's the sort of ordinary moment parents everywhere instantly recognize, and that relatability is precisely why Meghan's social media presence lands so effectively. The funniest part is that some sections of the media still cannot process the fact that Meghan understands modern communication better than institutions that have existed for centuries. One Instagram photo and people feel warmth, connection, personality, family. Meanwhile, some royal correspondents are still writing headlines like they're faxing reports directly from 1987. And this is where the contrast becomes fascinating, because while Meghan shares these intimate family moments online, she is also continuing serious advocacy work on issues that genuinely matter. The same woman posting about her daughter helping with shoes is also preparing to attend a memorial event in Switzerland focused on the devastating impact of digital harm on children and families. That duality matters. Too often, public figures get boxed into ridiculous categories. If a woman is stylish and warm online, critics try to pretend she cannot also be serious and intelligent. If she advocates for difficult issues, suddenly people accuse her of being too political or too calculated. Women in public life are expected to exist inside impossible little cages built by people who spend suspicious amounts of time writing angry opinion columns about strangers. Meghan refuses those boxes entirely. According to the announcement, the Duchess of Sussex will attend the Lost Screen Memorial in Geneva alongside global health leaders and families affected by online violence and digital harm. The event, hosted by the WHO and Archwell Philanthropies, will highlight the urgent need for stronger global protections for children online. And honestly, this subject could not be more important right now. The internet has become both a lifeline and a battlefield. Social media can connect communities, spread support, and create opportunities, but it can also expose children to horrifying levels of harassment, bullying, exploitation, and psychological harm. Entire industries profit of outrage and addiction while pretending they are merely neutral platforms. Humanity really did invent tiny glowing rectangles capable of containing both cat videos and emotional devastations simultaneously. Remarkable species. What makes Harry and Meghan's advocacy around digital safety particularly compelling is that they speak about it with personal understanding. They have lived through years of relentless online abuse, conspiracy theories, harassment campaigns, and coordinated attacks amplified by tabloids and social media ecosystems feeding off outrage for clicks and profit. They understand what digital toxicity looks like because they have survived it publicly. And, importantly, they consistently shift the focus away from themselves and toward broader societal consequences, especially concerning children and young people. That is what this Switzerland trip represents. Not celebrity activism for applause, not a glamorous photo opportunity. The actual topic is heartbreaking. Families attending this memorial are doing so because they lost children connected to online harm and violence. Imagine the pain required to stand in a room where illuminated screens represent lives cut short. 50 light boxes displaying phone lock screens of children who died because of digital harm. That is devastating. Which is exactly why conversations around online safety can no longer remain shallow. This is not simply about limiting screen time or telling teenagers to log off. The scale of online harassment, algorithmic radicalization, cyberbullying, and predatory behavior has become global. Children are growing up in environments where humiliation can spread to millions instantly, where hate campaigns can follow them into their bedrooms, where edited images and manipulated narratives can destroy mental well-being before adulthood even begins. And yet somehow, many governments and tech companies continue moving at the pace of a confused snail filling out paperwork. So, Meghan using her platform to highlight this issue matters, especially because she approaches it from a maternal perspective as well. That is where the connection between the Lilibet post and the Switzerland trip becomes surprisingly powerful. The Mama's Little Helper photo reminds people that Meghan is not discussing children's safety as some abstract policy debate. She is a mother thinking about the world children inherit, a mother thinking about what kind of internet young people grow up inside. That emotional link gives the advocacy more depth. You can already predict, of course, that certain critics will attempt their usual routine. They always do. If Meghan smiles, they complain she smiled incorrectly. If she advocates for something meaningful, they complain she spoke. If she breathes near a microphone, someone writes 900 words about royal protocol concerns. Exhausting little ecosystem. Imagine dedicating your professional life to being angry about a woman existing aesthetically and compassionately in California. Meanwhile, Meghan continues doing the work anyway. And here's another reason this Switzerland appearance is significant: global legitimacy. The WHO does not casually collaborate with random celebrities for decorative purposes. The World Health Organization partnering with Archwell around digital safety signals that this issue is being treated seriously at an international level. Meghan's involvement reflects how Harry and Meghan have positioned Archwell not merely as a celebrity vanity project, but as an organization participating in real conversations about mental health, technology, information ecosystems, and community well-being. People sometimes underestimate how much their post-royal work has evolved. Early criticism often painted Harry and Meghan as aimless celebrities, supposedly seeking privacy while staying visible, which was always a lazy talking point pushed by commentators determined not to engage honestly with what the couple were actually building. Over time, though, a clearer picture emerged. Their consistent projects circle around a few central themes: mental health, safer digital spaces, community support, storytelling, and humanitarian work. Whether people personally like them or not, the consistency is there. And Meghan especially has become increasingly confident in blending lifestyle influence with advocacy. That combination is modern, whether critics like it or not. Public figures today are not divided neatly into serious humanitarians versus people who post aesthetically pleasing photos. The most effective communicators often do both. That's partly why Meghan's Instagram return has worked so well. It feels contemporary, fluid, human. One day she shares warmth and family moments. Another day she amplifies charitable initiatives. Another day it might be fashion, food, community, or women-led businesses. It reflects the reality that women's lives contain multitudes instead of existing as one-dimensional palace-approved brochures. And honestly, the monarchy itself struggles with this shift. Traditional royal systems were built around distance, formality, carefully rationed emotion. Meghan's communication style operates differently. It is direct, emotionally literate, image savvy, and rooted in modern digital culture. That difference unsettles institutions and commentators who still think authority must look cold to appear legitimate. But younger generations respond differently now. People trust authenticity more than choreography. That is why a candid image of Meghan and Lilibet resonates globally in ways some heavily staged royal portraits no longer do. It feels alive, imperfect, real. The public increasingly wants connection, not ceremony for ceremony's sake. And there is another layer here, too. For years, Meghan was relentlessly dehumanized online. Every expression analyzed, every gesture distorted. Entire industries thrived off painting her as manipulative, difficult, calculating, or divisive. Yet moments like the Mama's Little Helper post quietly dismantled those caricatures without even trying. Because at the end of the day, most people see the image and simply think, that's a mom and her daughter. Normal humanity defeats propaganda surprisingly effectively. Then, immediately afterward, Meghan pivots toward advocating for children affected by digital harm. That combination creates a fuller picture of who she actually is, beyond headlines written by people still emotionally recovering from a Black American actress marrying into a monarchy. And let's be honest for a second. The same media culture that helped fuel years of online harassment against Meghan, now suddenly reporting on digital safety issues, carries a level of irony so intense it could power a small European village. Some of these outlets spent years monetizing outrage, conspiracy theories, racial undertones, and harassment narratives, while now solemnly discussing online toxicity like bewildered bystanders. Extraordinary work from the planet's least self-aware industry. Still, the conversation itself matters more than the hypocrisy. If events like this push governments, tech companies, parents, educators, and communities towards stronger protections for children, then the attention is worthwhile. Because online harm is not hypothetical anymore. Entire generations are navigating digital environments adults barely understand themselves. Algorithms amplify conflict because anger drives engagement. Bullying no longer stops at school gates. Deepfakes, exploitation, harassment, disinformation, and hate campaigns spread faster than regulation can catch up. The psychological consequences are enormous, and children deserve better. That's ultimately the heart of this story. Not palace gossip, not tabloid outrage cycles, not endless debates about titles, seating charts, or who allegedly looked unhappy during a balcony appearance 3 years ago. A mother shares a sweet moment with her daughter. Then she travels internationally to advocate for protecting children from digital harm. That is the story. And perhaps that's why Meghan continues frustrating her critics so deeply. They want chaos, they want scandal, they want permanent outrage because outrage is profitable. But Meghan increasingly seems focused on building a life defined by intention rather than reaction. Family, advocacy, creativity, community, visibility on her own terms. And every time she does that successfully, the old narratives weaken further. The image with Lilibet especially symbolized something larger than people realize. It showed peace, stability, domestic happiness. A woman who spent years portrayed as disruptive and unhappy, now appearing grounded, smiling, loved, and deeply connected to her children. That visual alone quietly contradicts years of hostile storytelling. No wonder some people spiral every time she posts, because happiness ruins certain narratives. Meanwhile, supporters see something hopeful in these moments too. Not perfection, not sainthood, just a woman navigating motherhood, public life, business, philanthropy, and global attention while still preserving tenderness inside her family life. That balance is difficult even without millions of strangers dissecting your existence online. Because together, those two stories actually complement each other perfectly. One reminds us what children bring into our lives. The other reminds us why protecting them matters so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Smiley here, signing off.